Welcome to our program, People in Life. I'm Lily Green. We as Asian Americans ought to know our history and our Asian studies, yet it is not the case that we do not choose as our major. Today I have the opportunity to have a casual discussion with our experts in Asian studies. He's a well-known professor who specializes in our Asian studies at Seton Hall University, South Orange, New Jersey. And he has devoted his whole life in his teaching career and has published numerous books worldwide. He's one of the few of Asian people who have become a tenured professor at his young age. Some of you might know him, and many viewers today will get to know him with the conversation I have with Professor Dr. Edwin Pak-Wah Leung. Good morning, sir. Good to be with you at the holiday, Professor.
Good morning, Lily. Welcome to Seton Hall University.
I know this is the first time I come here, and it's a beautiful place, even though it's a little bit cold outside today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful campus because it has a very long history, over 150 years. So it's one of the well-known Catholic universities in this country.
Mm-hmm. Everybody knows about it anyway, right? Especially New Jersey people know Seton Hall very well.
Mm-hmm. And Seton Hall is reaching out to other parts of the world also. And now we do have an office in China,
really?
In Beijing. So we're reaching out to China also at this time.
Did you go there?
Yes, I go to China quite often.
And was that a brand new school there, or it just started, or it has been there for a while?
It's just an office.
Just an office.
In Beijing.
Mm-hmm. Good. Well, speaking of that, knowing that you came from Hong Kong at a young age, when you were at a young age at that time, had you thought of coming to USA at all, or it just happened to be the opportunity that got you here?
It's really like an opportunity because when I was in Hong Kong, I wanted to be a professor, but I did not think of going to the United States for further studies. So it was just an opportunity for me to end up in this country.
It just happened to be ending up here. But yeah, I read your books, and I know when you were a kid, when you were a young age, especially at your graduation in high school, you had a dream in your mind. You want to be a teacher when you grew up, when your peers at the school asked you about it.
Right.
In fact, that did come true, right? You became a teacher, you became a full professor. How did this all, come about?
Well, when I was in high school, right, I studied in a pretty famous high school in Hong Kong called Clementi Middle School. I had very good teachers, I had very good English teacher. She always encouraged me to work hard. And also had some very good history teachers. So they were my idols. I wanted to be a teacher, but I do want to be a professor, instead of a high school teacher. So in a way they inspire me to become a teacher. And finally the dream came true. And
at that time, sometime, become a teacher at that time was not something so commercialized at that time. It was just some career you want to pursue with.
Mm-hmm.
To be a teacher was one of the pride you probably had in your, at that time, right?
Exactly.
Right. You have a keen interest in the Asian studies. Obviously, you are here professor at Asian Studies at the Seton Hall.
Right.
And was there anything in your childhood, besides what the teachers and other professors inspired you to Hong Kong, anything other than that impact your career choices? If so, what was it then?
Well, I had always been interested in diplomatic studies, study of international relations, how countries interact, When I was in college, there was something that happened, and that was the controversy over the island Diaoyutai. So students in Hong Kong, held demonstrations and so on, and that made me even more aware of the need, to engage in diplomatic studies. So that reinforced my interest to pursue further, for graduate studies in diplomacy. And for that, I was interested in looking at China's relations with neighboring countries, for example, with Japan, with Korea, and so on, and also relationship with Western countries. And so I pursued that. So it became my goal as a result of that.
Key focus on getting those cultures together. Becoming a teacher, like everyone knows, it's not easy, and to everybody that can be a great teacher.
Right.
Especially to be a full professor is even tougher, and that's a tough, title to achieve. I know I read some of your books, and briefly that you wrote about how to become a professor or teacher in American system. Maybe you can share some of those systematic ways here that how that works.
I have written about 20-some books, and I don't have a book specifically on that, but I do have some articles.
Right, some articles
about how to become a professor in this country. And basically, in America, there are a number of steps to become a professor. The first one is to get a PhD, which is a necessity, to apply for a teaching job in this country. Once you get a PhD, you apply for jobs. First of all, you either will be hired as an instructor or as an assistant professor. In that case, you have about 6 years
so
as a probationary.
After you become assistant professor, you have to be 6 years?
About 6 years
Okay.
to be observed by the university, which is a probationary period.
Okay.
And during this time, you need to really perform well in some areas, such as teaching, for example. You have to prove yourself that you are a very good, very effective teacher, because each semester, there will be evaluations of you by your peers, by the chair of the department, and also by students.
Right. I was thinking maybe students have to say something about it.
Yeah, they definitely.
Even they didn't
have
like
something
it.
to say. Yeah, they.